The Royal Rumble is fast approaching, and with everyone and their mother trying to predict the 30 men that are going to enter the yearly match, I thought that today I would do something a little different and tell you I think WWE should book the entire Royal Rumble 2025 Premium Live event and challenge WWE to do it better. Thought there was a gap in the market for someone doing that. So, this video is being written and recorded on January 16th, 2025. So everyone that is currently announced for each of the Rumbles per that date is going to be in the match. And if someone gets announced after that date and they aren't in the Rumble here, well, then that just means that I'm not a time traveler. So if the night before they decide that it's actually going to be a 60-man Rumble and that half of them are going to be Hulk Hogan, don't come crying to me. That being said, I have 2 Rumble matches to book, and I have to make up for at least 2 or 3 other non-Rumble matches, because I have a feeling that Dad here isn't going to just try and run a 3-match PLE. So without any further ado, here we go. Quick groundwork here. Saturday night's main event's coming up next week, and on that same day, I'm going to be doing a 24-hour live stream on Twitch and one of my many YouTube channels. That being said, Jey Uso is going to be challenging Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship on that show, and Sheamus is going to be challenging Braun Breaker. Neither of them are going to be winning those respective championships, and in fact, all championships are staying on the same people from now until the Royal Rumble itself. Which brings us right into our first matchup, the WWE Championship ladder match between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. We're going to start with a controversial one here. Now, a few people are a bit sick of Cody Rhodes being superseded in WWE lately, and while I'm not among those people, I do get it. Should he have maybe lost the title by now? Probably not. Could he have at the very least been booked with more interesting ways than he has been now? Probably. That's really what's the big problem for Cody for me, is that he's just not felt like his reign is in any jeopardy because The Rock was playing Will He Won't He with WrestleMania for so long. And now that it seems The Rock might not even be wrestling at WrestleMania, it actually feels like Cody could lose the title finally. And I gotta be real, Cody's not been a bad champion. The stories just haven't been the best up until now. And I feel like Kevin Owens has really injected new life into this title reign. We're nearly a year into Cody's title reign, and no one's felt like they could take the belt. AJ Styles and Cody had 2 incredible matches, but there was no way AJ was winning. Logan Paul as a challenger was certainly a choice, but he's definitely not winning, though now that he's gone full-time. Anyways, Solo doesn't win singles matches, we know this, and Crisis of Confidence Kevin Owens back in Berlin wasn't going to beat him either. I don't think I missed anyone. Anyways, heel Kevin Owens on this run has been white hot, and you all know that I'm someone that really likes to strike while that iron is hot in most cases. And this is one of those cases. Well, I do think that what's more likely to happen is that Kevin is going to attempt the package pile driver, Randy's going to show up, low blow Kevin, hit him with an RKO, and then Cody can climb the ladder and win the belt. I feel like that's the more likely thing, but if we're going fantasy booking, what I'd much rather see, and since this is how I would book the show, is Cody's ultimately going to go for something big. He tries to do the Cody cutter off the top of the ladder, Kevin firmly grabs the rungs, pushes him down, Kevin comes down, hits the package pile driver, pulls down the 2 title belts. Because what I'd much rather prefer to see at WrestleMania, instead of Cody versus Cena, which is what all the leaks have been saying, I'd rather see Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. And as for the WWE Championship design itself, because Kevin Owens walked in with the Winged Eagle title and it was such a big part of the story, after this, I feel like Kevin Owens should declare that the Gold Vomit title looks stupid, and to further be a dick about his win over Cody, he creates some kind of Infinite Fusion WWE title design with the Winged Eagle and the modern belt. You know, something kind of like this one that circulates every so often. Now, I know, I'd also much rather it be the classic Winged Eagle title, but something company branding. Anyways, there you have it. Kevin Owens wins the WWE Championship. Cody has always been a better challenger, or at least a more interesting one, so we'll use that on the road to WrestleMania. Now then, time for the first of the 2 Rumbles. This one is going to be great. If you haven't seen how I do Rumbles before, I do it beat by beat, entry by entry. So we're starting with the Women's Royal Rumble. This one's going to feel very open-ended for me, and that's a real test to what I can do with an open-ended Rumble. Because as of today, 1 name is announced at the time of recording this, and it's Nia Jax. She was already on my list of names to put in anyways. So, as for participants for the entire thing, I went with the active roster as of today, taking out anyone that is injured and is not cleared to come back. and Tiffany Stratton and Rhea Ripley are the champions going into the Rumble. I decided anyone on the Raw, SmackDown, and NXT rosters are fair game, and of course, you'll get to see Rhea and Tiffany sitting up in the skybox trying to figure out what shit song Def Rebel made as each entrant comes out, which brings us to entrant number 1, Liv Morgan. The winner of the annual Meg Griffin Satellite Contest and former WWE Women's World Champion is out first, fresh off of her loss to Rhea Ripley. Okay, actually, hold up a minute. I feel like I need to get this off of my chest for a second. People really think that I have this weird anti-Liv Morgan vendetta going on because of all the Rhea Ripley jokes and the fact that I was more for Becky and Rhea last year at Mania and I wasn't part of Team We Want Liv, and that I said her title reign was kind of boring during a lot of it, during the Eternal Rhea feud, and that I just wanted Rhea to win so that we could move on to something else for both of them. To the point where someone came into my chat on the Raw Netflix premiere and said, "Are you going to finally give Liv her flowers if she loses tonight?" or something like that. I have no issues with Liv. In fact, I think as a heel with Judgment Day, she's doing career work right now. She's incredibly entertaining. I just found the title run to be kind of wheel spinning for a while. Anyways, back on track. Liv starts the Rumble out, the heat magnet that she is, Dom by her side, she does her promo, as entry number 1 sometimes gets to do, think Ziggler in 2013. And she's going to talk about how the last 2 years she's been the runner-up. But this year, she's going to go all the way with Daddy Dom, and she's going to go to WrestleMania where she'll challenge Rhea again because she knows that everyone wants to see her and Rhea fight on the biggest stage, no matter who number 2 is. And number 2, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is back, and of course, this could all go out the window as soon as 3 days from now on Monday if Becky returns on the Raw before the Rumble. Well, let's just pretend that WWE can be patient. She comes down, sauntering down to the ring, and declares open season on the woman who beat her for the Women's World title and sent her off to do all of her movie and TV stuff these last 9 months or so. The bell rings, and the first 90 seconds is just Becky trying to rip Liv Morgan's arm off, while Liv runs as fast as she can around the ring to try and get away with the 90 seconds. Before at number 3, Sonya Deville. The first third of the world's worst faction name enters the ring and starts to square off with Becky. Meanwhile, Liv hides under the bottom rope and hangs out there. In at number 4, it's the first NXT name in the Rumble, Cora Jade. There's going to be a few NXT names this time around, and this is someone who I think is due for a call-up at this point anyways. It seems now she's on a collision course with TNA Knockouts champion Masha Slamovich. I feel that could be Cora's send-off from NXT. Cora comes down to the ring with her black kendo stick in hand. Although, does she still carry the black kendo stick? I don't know, but this is my video, so she does. Cora slides into the ring with the kendo stick and starts swinging for Becky Lynch. She has a mission to take down the biggest name in this Rumble, and right now, that's Becky Lynch. At this point, things are starting to look bad for Becky, as Liv, Sonya, and Cora seemingly have come to a bit of an agreement that they'll team up on Becky to try and get her out of there early. Meanwhile, Becky is trying to fight back from underneath, as in at number 5, it's Zoe Stark. The second member of the Pure Fusion Collective enters the mix, and now that Sonya has some backup of her own, she and Zoe do what everyone seems to do with temporary alliances in the Rumble, and it bothers me to no end, and that's that they end the alliance early on before they can accomplish their goal of eliminating Becky Lynch. And instead they start facing off with Cora Jade and Liv Morgan, while Becky Lynch pulls herself into the corner to catch her breath. In at number 6, Ivy Nile. Heel enters, beats up Becky Lynch, bad guys try to eliminate her, she hangs on, rinse and repeat. Now, at this point, this has been going on for 10 minutes or so in the Rumble, which means it's run its course. So, in for some backup, number 7, Lyra Valkyria. The Women's Intercontinental Champion and Becky's friend because they share the common trait of being Irish, which is enough for WWE apparently, so we'll take it. Lyra Valkyria rushes to the ring, starts to help fight the heels off, as Lyra grabs Ivy, hits her with the Nightwing, throws her over the top rope, Ivy Nile eliminated. Becky Lynch is helped up by Lyra out of the corner. The two hug and get into it with the PFC girls, while now Liv is hanging out under the bottom ropes again, flirting grossly with Dominic Mysterio, as she does. In at number 8, Alba Fire. Alba hits the ring, throws a few super kicks, nearly eliminates Becky, who hangs on. Number 9, Blair Davenport. It hurts my heart that she isn't doing more. She enters, same deal as Alba. We're filling up the ring for a minute here just to set things up for number 10, Shayna Baszler. The should-be leader of the PFC enters the ring, and with the 3-women group all in full force in the Rumble, they begin to wreck shop, beating down Alba Fire first, Alba Fire eliminated. Same thing for Cora Jade. Sonya and Zoe pick her up, hand her to Shayna, who locks in Kirifuna Clutch, Cora Jade eliminated. Sonya hits her big knee strike on Blair, Blair Davenport eliminated. And last, most heartbreakingly for Becky Lynch, Z360 from Zoe to set up a future title match, Lyra Valkyria eliminated. Now, you might be thinking I'm booking the Pure Fusion Collective way too strong, to which I say, do you want Becky Lynch to be the only person getting eliminations in this Rumble? We're trying to build new stars here, people. So, number 11, Naomi. Becky Lynch gets a little bit of backup here in the form of Naomi, who comes down to the ring and starts taking the fight to the faction, as Becky joins back into the fight. And just when it looks like Becky is about to dump out Shayna Baszler, Liv Morgan has to try and ruin everything good as she runs in, throws Becky over the top rope, but Becky holds on, just barely sliding under the bottom rope before she can hit the ground. Number 12, Michin. Michin hits the ring and goes right at her Shayna Baszler, recognizing her as the biggest threat in the ring, and now, with the faces all working together, they manage to take some of the strength and numbers out of the match as Michin hits Eat Defeat, and then Naomi grabs Sonya Deville and launches her out of the ring. Sonya Deville eliminated. Number 13, Zelina Vega. Alright, it's time for those kind of mid-Rumble Blues spots where we just start kind of lightning rounding who comes in next. Number 14, Natalya. Number 15, Sol Ruca from NXT. Notably, when she does hit the Soul Snatcher on Liv and throws her over the top ropes right into the arms of Dominic Mysterio, Dominic catches her, carries her around ringside, sets Liv down on the announce table where Liv watches the Rumble from here on out. Number 16, Candice LeRae. Number 17, Chelsea Green. I gotta mention here, getting deep into the writing of the Rumble and seeing who I still haven't even had enter yet, it really just goes to show that WWE's women's division is stacked nowadays, and I am loving it. The Women's United States Champion enters the mix, and the first thing she does is circle the ring a few times like she's waiting for something. But when she sees Natalya teetering over the top rope with her hands being held back by Shayna and Zoe, Chelsea runs in, grabs Natty by the arms, and pulls her out of the ring. Natalya eliminated. When Natalya now trying to demolish Chelsea on the outside, Chelsea runs into the ring where everyone surrounds her, bringing out number 18, Piper Niven. Chelsea's bestie enters the ring, and Chelsea looks relieved as Piper starts to help clean house, starting by hoisting up this much smaller Zelina Vega and launching her out of the ring, eliminating her. Then Piper grabs Michin, and she and Chelsea work together to take out Chelsea's longtime rival. Michin has now been eliminated. Sol Ruca then runs in, hits the ropes for Soul Snatcher, but Piper pushes Chelsea out of the way and takes the move herself, as Liv then quickly has Dominic help her back in the ring, hits Oblivion on Sol Ruca eliminated. Boo Liv Morgan. We then get that spot of everyone trading finishers as Zoe hits the Z360 on Candice LeRae, Naomi hits rear view on Zoe, Shayna hits the knee on Naomi, Becky hits manhandle slam on Shayna, Liv hits Oblivion on Becky, Chelsea hits the Unprettier on Liv, and stands in the ring as the countdown ticks down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sound the sirens. Finally, number 19, Jordynne Grace. Last year, she entered the mix as the TNA Knockouts champion and a guest. This year, she is no longer the person stepping through the prohibited portal, and now, at long last, WWE superstar Jordynne Grace enters the mix, and it is a bad time to be Chelsea Green. As before she can get away, Jordynne Grace pulls her in, nails the Juggernaut driver, and throws the lifeless body of the Women's United States Champion over the top rope. Chelsea Green eliminated. At the sight of this, Piper Niven is furious and tries to take out Jordynne, and we get the stare down that, yes please, I would like this very much. Until Jordynne Grace, Big Mama Pump herself, hoists Piper Niven up in a fireman's carry, doing a few squats with Piper on her shoulders just because she can do that. She did it with Bully Ray. She can do it with Piper Niven. Backs into the ropes and drops her over the top rope. Piper Niven eliminated. In a perfect world, this sets up a feud between Chelsea and Jordynne on SmackDown for the Women's US title, leading to Jordynne winning the United States Championship later on, before Jordynne Grace now turns around in the Rumble to be face-to-face with Naomi. In at number 20, Dakota Kai. 2/3 of the way through now as Dakota Kai enters the mix, joining the ongoing battle as the babyfaces continue to start cleaning up the ring a little. Jordynne and Becky team up and eliminate the remaining members of the Pure Fusion Collective, along with Dakota Kai joining in as revenge for what they did to Kairi Sane on Raw a few weeks back, as well as revenge for making me have to hear that scream from Kairi Sane. That was terrifying. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark now eliminated. In at number 21, Bayley. Last year's winner enters the match, hits a rose plant on Candice LeRae, who without that graphic up there, you'd have probably forgotten was in this Rumble by now. And then she throws her out of the ring. Candice LeRae eliminated. Number 22, Io Sky. Io enters the mix, stands side by side with Dakota. The two lock eyes with Bayley, and there's some tension there before the remaining women in the ring continue to face off. Number 23, Nia Jax. She's not like most girls who only take just what they're given, like a plastic little princess. Lucky for her, she's not like most girls. That song's way better than what she's got right now. The former women's champion enters the mix, and everyone looks at her and agrees, "Not today, Satan!" Before Jordynne Grace, Naomi, Bayley, Damage Control, Becky Lynch, and even Liv Morgan team up, pushing Nia towards the ropes, but Nia isn't going down without a fight, as she does the big whoom thing that all the big wrestlers do, and everyone goes flying back before she grabs Dakota Kai by the hair, throws her over the top rope. Dakota Kai eliminated. Nia then headbutts Becky and drags her towards the corner for the Annihilator. When the countdown interrupts her, who's going to come to the rescue? Number 24, Maxine Dupree. Oh dear. Oh no. Oh no. It goes about as well for the poor girl as you'd expect. Headbutt from Nia, and Nia just hoists her up, throws her over the top rope. Maxine Dupree eliminated, because every Rumble needs someone who goes out a little quickly. Jordan and Nia then begin exchanging big strikes with one another, and noticeably, Liv is starting to get a little more bold, and she's trying to sneak in and get some eliminations, but she's unsuccessful, but she's getting cocky, because number 25 is Raquel Rodriguez. Liv's enforcer joins the mix, and Liv starts hiding behind her as Raquel levels Io Sky with a boot, picks her up, and Liv helps get Raquel the elimination. Io Sky eliminated. Raquel and Liv then turn to start bullying Becky Lynch, their favorite pastime, before staying focused on her to potentially set up a feud between the two for down the road. Maybe Becky versus Liv is Becky's first feud back at the Elimination Chamber or something. Number 26 from NXT, it's Roxanne Perez. Much like Cora Jade earlier in the Rumble, it's time for another actual call-up here. Roxanne's done it all. She's a 2-3-time women's champion, something like that. She recently had a confrontation with Bayley on NXT, and a lot of people think that that might be Bayley and Roxanne at Stand and Deliver, which is very possible, as Roxanne comes right in, goes after Bayley, hits her with the Pop Rocks, and buddies up with Nia Jax just a little bit as Nia and Roxanne work together and eliminate last year's winner, Bayley eliminated, as Roxanne starts mixing up with Jordynne Grace, calling back to the showdown last year as Roxanne is basking in her moment as the only NXT star in the ring. And then, number 27, Julia. The NXT Women's Champion enters the mix, and she immediately goes after Roxanne Perez, ready to take her out and ruin her day again, as Julia begins to show why she should be on the main roster already. She grabs Roxanne, hits her with her finisher, only to get swung around into a fight with Nia Jax. We have 3 entries left, and I'll go ahead and tell you now, we're getting all of them before we get our next elimination. Number 28, she's on her own, against the wall. The pressure's holding, she'll never fall. It's Bianca Belair. She's not on her own, though, because she has like 5 best friends. One half of the women's tag team champions makes her way to the ring. Naomi's best friend enters the mix and comes to the aid of Naomi to take on Nia Jax and Roxanne Perez. The ring is filling up. Raquel Rodriguez is protecting Liv Morgan from Nia Jax. Up next, number 29, Charlotte Flair. Wait a minute. If Charlotte Flair is number 29, not number 30, who is number 30? Interesting. Charlotte comes out and goes right after Nia Jax as she begins taking on everybody, before she locks eyes with Becky Lynch, and for a moment before Charlotte turns around and kicks Liv Morgan, who is trying to ambush her. All the remaining women stand in the ring. The lights drop. Number 30's countdown begins. What's happening? The Firefly Funhouse jingle plays. Then it melts away. Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Bing. Number 30, Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss makes her way down to the ring after 2 full years away. She is a little bit of the goddess, a little bit of the spooky witch. I've gone on record and said I'm not a huge fan of Spooky Bliss. She has her fans, though, and I have more faith in a Wyatt-adjacent Bliss could come across now as being something compelling and entertaining, as opposed to last time where it kind of fell flat. Here we go. The final parts of the Women's Rumble. Bliss immediately hits her swinging DDT on Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez eliminated. Nia Jax manages to hoist Julia up on her shoulders. Heartbreakingly, Julia is eliminated. Naomi and Bianca Belair work together to start tipping Nia Jax over the top rope. Raquel and Liv join in, but in the crossfire of all, Naomi gets thrown over the top with Nia by Raquel and Liv. Naomi and Nia Jax eliminated. Then as Raquel turns around, Charlotte Flair runs in and hits her with a massive boot before Charlotte and Becky work together to get rid of Liv's enforcer, Raquel Rodriguez, eliminated. Liv stumbles into the center of the ring where the rest of the remaining competitors are standing around her. Charlotte kicks her. Jordan hits her with a juggernaut driver. Bianca hits the KOD. Becky hits the manhandle slam. And then Bliss comes off the top with the twisted Bliss moonsault. Bliss picks her up, sends her crashing to the floor. She was right. She wasn't going to be runner-up again this year because she's not even making it that far. Liv Morgan eliminated. 5 names remain and it feels like anyone could win it. But Becky Lynch is on her last legs. Bliss and Bianca start squaring off since that was where we last left Bliss before she went away for 2 years to be a mom. And I was actually watching that match at 6 a.m. in a hotel room in Paris. Meanwhile, Charlotte and Jordan are exchanging blows in a 3-way fight with Becky before Jordan Grace turns around, actually starts helping Bliss against Bianca. Blissful Grace, baby! I'm not actually suggesting we do the thing I did on my other channel, LS11 Universe, but, you know, if it happens, I will demand all the royalties. In the final moments, though, Jordan Grace looks like she's about to be able to get revenge for last year. She hoists Bianca Belair up in a military press. Charlotte runs in, hits a massive boot to Jordan Grace that staggers her back towards the ropes as Jordan drops Bianca Belair, who falls over the top rope from the military press. Jordan falls back like this. Bianca falls out of her arms, Liv Morgan breaking her fall on the floor so that she doesn't get injured. Bianca Belair eliminated. Charlotte spears Jordan Grace, and with the help of Becky and Alexa, tips the newest member of the roster over the top rope. Jordan Grace eliminated. A great showing in her debut. Jordan's not winning this year, though I would 100% be on board if she did. Next year, though, we have our final 3: Charlotte, Alexa, and Becky. All 3 back from injuries or Hollywood or motherhood or a mix of all of them. And Becky starts to team up with Charlotte, realizing that Bliss is a massive threat to them. Charlotte at this point is so confident in herself, though, that she truly believes she's just going to win this Rumble and be the first woman in history to win 2 Royal Rumbles. After every move, she just keeps looking around, points up to the skybox, points to the WrestleMania sign, points to the other skybox. She at one point gets on the top rope, points at Tiffany, and says, "You're only here because I've been hurt. I sound like I'm always talking underwater." Before Becky then runs in and shoves Charlotte over the top rope. Charlotte lands on the apron, barely hanging on. Bliss and Lynch both rush Charlotte, but both Becky and Alexa get pulled over the top rope by Charlotte, and all 3 of them end up on the apron. All 3 women, the final 3 on the apron, as Alexa grabs Becky for her DDT, but just as she's about to hit it, Charlotte hits a big boot, Bliss falls backwards, DDTs Becky on the apron, Becky falls to the floor. Becky Lynch eliminated. The final 2 in the Rumble, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, both rise back up to their feet as they lock up on the apron and come to a small truce for a moment. All right, they go through the ropes, back into the ring, and now it's the final showdown. And just like how WWE used to use Roman Reigns in the final 2 or 3 of every Rumble to make people cheer for whoever won, like Triple H, Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, Drew McIntyre before, Charlotte Flair is going to get one of the biggest pops of the night as Bliss hits her with a Sister Abigail and eliminates her. Alexa Bliss wins the Women's Royal Rumble. From there, Bliss can go on to challenge Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, putting herself on the Raw roster, keeping her separate from the Wyatt Six stuff for now, because Bliss and Ripley is something we haven't seen before, or at least haven't seen in a long time if we have ever seen it before. And not just that, it won't be hard for Charlotte to get a title shot against Tiffany. All she's got to do is show up on SmackDown and say, "I want a title shot against Tiffany at WrestleMania," and WWE will go, "Okay." But I also wanted to, see Becky do something a little bit different on the card instead of fighting for the top title. Maybe fight a newer talent like Roxanne or Cora, or maybe even challenge Jordan Grace for the Women's United States Championship, or Lyra for the Intercontinental Championship. But that is how I would book the Women's Royal Rumble beat for beat this year. I still have another whole Rumble to go. But that brings us to up next, WWE Tag Team Championships, Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, 2 out of 3 falls. I don't really need to go too in-depth on this one. This is a pitch for me more than anything. Let these guys go out there, 20 minutes, 30 minutes even. Trips, you know what you're getting out of a DIY 2 out of 3 falls match. You know what the Motor City Machine Guns are capable of. I wouldn't be upset if DIY found a way to stay champions, but I have a feeling they'd put the belts back on Motor City here. All right, here we go, folks. One more time. Royal Rumble 2025. I love the Rumble matches. I have watched every Rumble match with the exception of 2022 because that's the worst one ever, multiple times. Even 2015. I've watched 2015 multiple times. We got arguably the most stacked roster of Rumble names ever this year. And this is the same thing as I said earlier in the women's title or in the women's Rumble. We got both champions up in skyboxes. Gunther keeping it classy with a suit. Kevin Owens wearing his t-shirt, maybe a necktie over the t-shirt, holding the WWE championships over each shoulder. Maybe he's even got like some sunglasses on or something. Who knows? He's Kevin Owens. But it's now time for the 30-man Rumble. I'm going to be honest with you all. 100% hot take, they should make the Royal Rumble 40 men every year from here on out. I had to cut a lot of people that I wanted to put in this thing otherwise. Dragon Lee, Carlito, Chad Gable, Otis, A-Town Down Under. Several other names I wanted in there as well. A couple NXT names I couldn't put in there. But let's jump right into it. Number 1 in the 2025 Royal Rumble for the men, Andrade. He enters the ring first, and as if by fate, his seemingly eternal rival is in at number 2, Carmelo Hayes. And of course, you know what you're going to get with Carmelo and Andrade. Very good wrestling. And we're going to get 90 seconds of very good wrestling with a shot at the main event of WrestleMania on the line. Neither of these guys are going to win. Spoiler alert. But they do their best wrestling for 90 seconds. In at number 3, Penta. WWE's newest luchador acquisition hits the ring, and if you really want him to get over as someone that's incredibly over for what he can do, you just give him the Iron Man performance in the Rumble. Penta joins in the action, and with Andrade, they do good lucha things. In at number 4, it's The Miz. Miz starts marching down to the ring with a microphone in his hands. He cuts a promo on his way down to the ring, like he's talking about how he refuses to enter the Rumble this early. And he's a 2-time Grand Slam champion, but he's got to pull off an Iron Man performance like you've never seen. He'll be the first man to win from number 4. I think. That could be wrong on that one. He's going to win the whole shebang. And, you know, in amongst all this, Carmelo jumps on Andrade, and then Penta goes in for the kill. Miz slides in the ring, clocks Penta in the head with the microphone before going back to his promo. As the timer is counting down, says, "No, you will not finish that timer until you acknowledge that I am going to win this Rumble. Not Seth Rollins, not Roman Reigns, not CM Punk, not even the washed-up old has-been. In fact, I don't even want to say his name."
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
In at number 5, making good on his teases, the new, hopefully, TNA World Champion, Joe Hendry, is in the Rumble. You can watch me either drink to joy for him winning that this Sunday on LS11 Universe, or watch me have the hardest crash out of a lifetime if he loses to Nick Nemeth again because of JBL. Why? Why did he lose it at Bound for Glory? Why didn't he win at Slammiversary? Why didn't he? Anyways, 252 pounds of pure motivation, the Scottish hero himself, Joe Hendry, comes down to the ring, and he just gives Miz a proper ass beating. In at number 6, Finn Balor. Gonna start off and just preface this here. There are 2 members of the Judgment Day in this matchup. Carlito and JD McDonough are not in this Rumble, because I don't want 30 men... I don't want the 30-man Rumble to have 4 slots wasted by them. Finn Balor rocks his way down to the ring as the ice-cold Judgment Day get ready to job out yet again. He gets right into the mix and faces off with Joe Hendry, who I believe they've actually never met in the ring before. I think Finn was in WWE, or at least New Japan, by the time Joe started wrestling on the indies. But in at number 7 is Jimmy Uso. Big Jim is in at number 7. He makes his way out to the ring. He's ready for a fight. He gets into it with Penta, and I don't know why Penta specifically, but I just for some reason feel like Jimmy and Penta would weirdly have good chemistry in the ring. Who knows? I might be entirely wrong about this, but don't worry. If this Rumble feels kind of mid-card so far, we're about to get some star power. Some mega star power. Yeah! In at number 8, it's LA Knight. LA Knight heads down to the ring. He's probably won the U.S. title back from Nakamura at this point, because something just tells me he's going to win it back now that Nakamura is not in Japan anymore doing the Noah stuff. You'll be seeing, well, actually, in a perfect world, LA Knight wouldn't be the U.S. champion right now, because in a perfect world, he would have lost it to someone you're going to see in about 6 more spots that he's currently feuding with on SmackDown. Knight hits the ring, BFT to Miz, The Miz eliminated. Knight then spins around, and it's Joe Hendry and LA Knight face to face. Two of the most charismatic men in modern day of wrestling face to face. Two men that TNA dropped the ball with by not making world champion while the iron was hot, face to face. It's also a bit of a callback to when Joe and Ethan Page were staring down in NXT during the debut Battle Royal Hendry was in. Everyone quickly swarms the two of them. This time, Hendry's learned his lesson. He's not going to get eliminated immediately this time. Number 9, Karrion Kross. I love Karrion Kross. I'm starting to think I might be the only one. But he's going to come in. He's going to hit some moves. He's not going to eliminate anyone. They all manage to hold on. Number 10, Trick Williams. Whoop that Trick as Carmelo Hayes looks like he's seen a ghost. Trick runs down to the ring, hits the trick shot on Karrion Kross, tries to run at him again, and then Melo drops Andrade with a super kick as Melo and Trick start hockey fighting, throwing punches at one another. Melo goes low, throws Trick towards the ropes. Trick spins it around, throws Carmelo over the top rope. Carmelo Hayes eliminated. Meanwhile, Penta and Kross start mixing it up. I think they were in Lucha Underground at the same time. Meanwhile, Joe Hendry is fighting Andrade in the corner. Jimmy is fighting LA Knight, and so Trick Williams starts to mix up with Finn Balor, who's really good at making other people look really good. He's pinned Balor for a reason. Number 11, Shinsuke Nakamura, rounding out the mid-card vortex on SmackDown. It's Darth Shinsuke. Nakamura comes down to the ring, spits the mist in Andrade's face, throws him over the top rope. Andrade eliminated. Karrion Kross then tries putting Shinsuke into the ropes before Jimmy Uso runs up, gets the shock elimination by flipping Kross over the top rope from his legs. Karrion Kross eliminated. Number 12, it's Dominic Mysterio. Dirty Dom makes his way down to the ring, fresh off of watching Liv Morgan get eliminated in the Women's Rumble about 30 minutes ago, as he slides into the ring where everyone is waiting for him. Knight, Hendry, Jimmy, Trick, all exchange looks of, well, I want to beat him up first. Meanwhile, Penta, Finn, and Shinsuke are just fighting in the corner as Penta and Shinsuke kind of holding Finn back to keep him from helping Dom out, so that the two Judgment Day members can't start working together. Dom slides in and starts getting the shit kicked out of him by everybody. All 4 guys, rather than just throw him out, then take turns beating him up over and over. Number 13, Rey Mysterio. The world's worst father comes down to the ring with a belt in hand as the faces hold Dom down so that Rey can spank his son with a belt, before Finn Balor finally bursts out of the corner and dives into the dog pile on Dom to break it up. The tension between Dom and Finn starts to get a little bit too much though, as they can't get on the same page about who's going to take turns fighting Penta and Rey. As finally, double super kick from Penta and Rey Mysterio sets Finn and Dom up in the ropes for a double 619. Finn falls over, Dom staggers into the Penta driver. Rey and Penta work together, Dominic Mysterio eliminated, but because it's never really done in a Rumble that often, suddenly, what everyone's really wanted to happen since Penta showed up in WWE happens. Penta swings Rey Mysterio around, low blows him, hits him with his arm breaker, then throws Rey Mysterio over the top rope, where the next night on Raw we can solidify the Penta heel turn, because what better to avoid the next Rey Mysterio vortex that has consumed many like Kalisto, Sin Cara, and even Dragon Lee to an extent before him, than to turn Penta heel instead. Rey Mysterio eliminated. We're 6 slots past LA Knight. In at number 14 is Jacob Fatu, the man that in this timeline should be the US champion in a perfect world, comes out to the ring. Jacob marches down to the ring like a man on a mission. He storms the ring and just starts to take out everyone. Super kicks and headbutts all around. Shinsuke goes down. Hendry goes down. He throws Trick scarily high into the air, hits him with a Samoan drop, catches him on the rebound. Trick Williams are eliminated. Finn Balor tries next, only to get hit with a super kick, swung around, and also headbutt to Nakamura, taking him down. Jacob stacks Finn and Nakamura, does his moonsault, picks both of them up with one arm each, throws them over his shoulders, throws him backwards. Finn Balor and Shinsuke Nakamura eliminated. Penta squares up to Fatu up next and chops him as Jacob goes wide-eyed with that look that only he has that elaborates both, "Oh, you done fucked up, son," and, "Oh shit, that actually hurt? I can feel pain?" Before the two start trying to clobber each other, number 15, Ego. It's Ethan Page out next. It feels like he's due for a call-up soon, assuming Josh Alexander isn't on the way to NXT. Although, I wouldn't mind if the North went just straight to Raw to mix it up with the War Raiders. Ethan Page has a face-off with Joe Hendry. He tries to do the same low blow he did at No Mercy, but much like what happened to Josh Alexander at Victory Road, he shakes his hand or he shakes his foot and he's like, "What just happened?" And Joe just pulls out the cup with his face on it. He's learned. We're filling the ring back up now a little bit here, as it's going to be a little bit of a heavy hitter parade here coming on. Number 16, Ludwig Kaiser hits the ring, starts mixing it up. He's kind of a warm body. 17, Damian Priest. I hate to call a former world champion a warm body, but when you see the next 13 names, you'll kind of get why I'm having to do this. Number 18, Wabadoo! It's John Cena. One number earlier than the last time he won the Rumble in 2013. Cena sprints down to the ring. He looks at everyone. He points at Penta. He points at Priest. He points at Hendry. He points at Ethan Page. He points at everyone. He's like, I'm going to throw you out, then you, then you. Pulls out the last time is now towel, throws it to the side, takes off the shirt, throws it, takes off the hat, and reveals the buzz cut. If he's going full time, he's going full Super Cena with it. He sprints down to the ring. Everyone starts trying to kick him. He hits the shoulder tackle on Priest. Shoulder tackle on Penta. Back body drop to Jimmy. Back body drop to Penta, who's staggered up. Double 5-knuckle shuffle. Priest then grabs him by the throat for Sound of Heaven. Cena hops to the side. Attitude adjustment to Priest. Ethan Page swings him around. Cena, AA to Ethan Page, on to Damian Priest. Grabs Ethan Page. Out you go! Ethan Page eliminated. Ludwig Kaiser tries his luck next. He runs right into Cena, who bounces him into the air. Back body drop over the top rope. Out goes Ludwig Kaiser. Cena then turns around where LA Knight's waiting for him. The two kind of do some verbal jabs. Hey, I remember 2023. Yeah, I remember too. And then who starts to rise up between them? But Jacob Fatu, who clobbers both guys, who immediately have to try and fight back from underneath. Out next, number 19, it's Sheamus, who gets right in, gets face-to-face with Jacob Fatu, and the big trucks is gonna eat the little trucks! As Sheamus and Jacob Fatu beat the fucking brakes off of one another, and they fight into the corner where Cena stands up, and who should be standing behind him? Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry's been trying to manifest a showdown with John Cena for like a year now, and I believe he truly deserves this before Cena retires. Cena gets caught by the throat. Hendry's going to go for standing ovation. Cena counters it, picks him up on the shoulders, and AA over the top rope. Joe Hendry eliminated. John Cena eliminates the TNA World Champion from the Royal Rumble. What a sentence in 2025. Sheamus then turns his attention to Damian Priest, and the two begin to club one another with blows, while John Cena turns his attention to facing off with LA Knight again. Number 20, Sami Zayn enters the mix. Sami comes down to the ring and begins to help his Jimmy Uso, but Jacob Fatu is still too strong. Number 21, Braun Breaker. The Intercontinental Champion storms the ring and spears LA Knight out of his shoes, eliminates LA Knight. Spears Penta, eliminates Penta. And finally hits the ropes to go for a super spear to Sheamus. Sheamus catches him with a knee to stunt the momentum. Sheamus and Braun start to light each other up with blows again. Number 22, Solo Sikoa. The no longer Timu Tribal Chief walks down to the ring. Tama Tonga by his side, who's not in the Rumble, but he's by the side of Solo. Solo enters the ring. Jacob Fatu is standing there. They begin to take out everyone with big hits. Jacob then super kicks Jimmy, hands him to Solo to do the spike as Jacob goes, I love you, Solo! Spike to Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso eliminated. Damian Priest steps up to the two, but he's overwhelmed. Tama Tonga hops up on the apron to help out. Same thing happens to him. Super kick, spike. Damian Priest eliminated. Number 23, Matt Cardona. Making his long-rumored return to the WWE, which has become more and more fire behind it lately, it feels like. It seems that he's trying to manifest it more. Chelsea's trying to manifest it. The fans are trying to manifest it. It feels like this year it might happen. He's always ready, and he goes right in after John Cena, desperately trying to eliminate him. Sheamus, meanwhile, is trying to take out Jacob Fatu. Braun Breaker slips in and dumps Sheamus out instead. Sheamus has been eliminated. Sami Zayn tries to hold his own against Solo and Jacob, while Braun Breaker finally locks eyes with Jacob Fatu, and the two freight trains start colliding. Number 24, Seth Rollins. In the final stretch of the Rumble, with the big names coming out, Seth Rollins slides in the ring, and he starts to mix it up with Matt Cardona, trying to get this outsider out of his WWE, saying, You're no better than him! Get off my show! Seth turns around where Solo and Jacob are waiting. Jacob holds up a battered Sami Zayn by the hair, and Solo says, I gave you a chance, and you betrayed me. So now... Jacob drops Sami. Now you find out. Jacob throws Sami towards the ropes, but doesn't notice him. Sami skins the cat, and he's holding on to that bottom rope for dear life. Jacob launches at Seth like an attack dog. Number 25, it's just him, Jey Uso enters the mix. When the world needed him most, he yeeted his way into the Royal Rumble. He pushes Sammy back into the ring to make sure he doesn't get eliminated. He tries to rally the troops against Solo and Jacob. He's got Sammy groggily back to his feet. He's got Cena by his side. Cardona and Braun, they're just standing in the corner. They're just watching. Get any good figures lately? Yeah. I don't really care. That kind of stuff. They're going back and forth. Or they're just chatting a little bit there. And Seth, he can't be bothered. He's standing between them. He's like, I don't want any part of this bloodline shit. I'm tired of it. But, that being said, the bloodline shenanigans start as Tama Tonga slides into the ring and gets involved even though he's not in the match. As soon as it looks like the good guys are starting to get the upper hand, Jay throws Tama over the top rope. Even though he's not in the match, he gets eliminated this way. But just as this happens, being the dicks they are, Matt Cardona and Braun Breaker, the heels, decide to help out the other heels as Braun spears the corpse of Sami Zayn, throws him over the top rope like a wet noodle. Sami Zayn eliminated. Braun immediately starts trying to get his hands back on Jacob Fatu because if anyone's taking this big bastard out, it's me. Number 26. It's Logan Paul. I didn't really want to do this. Really don't want to, but it's going to happen. He's going to be in the Rumble. The Waste of Space himself makes his way down to the ring with a camera in hand. He vlogs his entrance, slides into the ring, and immediately punches John Cena in the face before Matt Cardona begins to argue with him. You stole my gimmick and all that jazz. Meanwhile, Seth's finally starting to actually get physical as he starts squaring off with Braun Breaker in the corner. Matt goes for a radio silence that Logan pops him up like what Kevin Owens did in 2016. Go watch it. Happened at WrestleMania. And Matt Cardona flies over Logan Paul instead. The radio silence connects on Solo Sikoa. Cardona turns around right into BAM! Brass knuckles from Logan Paul, who throws Matt Cardona over the top rope. Look, if I gotta deal with Logan Paul, at least give me a feud that might be entertaining. Battle of the Internet Bros. Matt Cardona eliminated. Number 27, Randy Orton. The Viper returns. We get a shot of the skybox of Kevin Owens being quite the angry man. He crashes out. He tips over a catering table. He storms out of the skybox. Foreshadowing. Randy Orton comes to the ring, and it's first an RKO and Solo, then Braun, then Jay. He rises up to see Cena standing there. They do the kind of Spider-Man point nod at one another, and then give one another a little fist bump before doing what mid-2000s and early 2010s Randy and John did best. Well, second best. Their best was always fighting each other, of course, 123 times. Before they turned their attention to the rising stars to pummel, Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu staggering to their feet as number 28, Drew McIntyre. Drew comes to the ring. He's got his sights set. Claymore to Jey Uso. Throws him out of the ring. 1. Seth Rollins turns his attention to Drew due to the tense back and forth they've had as of late on Raw, while Cena and Orton are finally working together, or beginning to fight one another now, as Braun Breaker rises to his feet, sizes up Logan Paul, who ducks under the bottom rope and gets out of the ring. Braun goes under the bottom rope, and he is chasing Logan around ringside before, wham! Hits him with a spear at Mock Jesus before leveling him and throwing him back into the ring just in time for number 29, Roman Reigns. Roman, with Paul Heyman by his side, saunters down to the ring. He looks quite angry about being number 29 and not 30. Roman slides in the ring, right into the face of Jacob, as Jacob Fatu turns around, super kicks Logan Paul. Braun Breaker comes running in. Roman, BAM! Spear to Braun Breaker. It's the dick swinging contest for the ages, as he and Jacob get face to face again. Roman just, boom, throws Braun Breaker over the top rope. Roman and Jacob begin to clobber one another. They stagger towards the ropes, where Jacob shoves Roman back, only to get, BAM! Claymore by Drew, and he sells it just like Brock did in 2020. Jacob Fatu falls over the top rope, eliminated. Drew just goes, that's 2. The battle lines are drawn. Roman, Randy, Seth, Cena, Solo, Logan, Drew, all stand in the ring. One of these things is not like the other. Number 30, he called in that favor to Paul Heyman, the wise man. He got the last spot for himself instead of Roman. It's clobbering time. Phil, CM Punk is in at number 30. Phil saunters down to the ring, taking his sweet time, just watching as Seth and Drew argue over who gets to kick his ass first. Meanwhile, Randy Orton squares off with Logan Paul. Roman keeps beating the brakes off Solo. Cena shoves past Drew and Seth, says, you know what, I'm going to fight him. Brings Punk, he says, you want some? Come get some. Cena goes, and Punk says, I've always seen you, John. The 8 men left break into a brawl. breaking off the pairs as Logan Paul runs in past Randy Orton. CM Punk immediately GTS throws him over the top rope. Logan Paul eliminated. Then as Randy sizes up a stirring Solo Sikoa for an RKO, he's grabbed behind by Kevin Owens. Oh my god! Kevin Owens throws him over the top rope. Randy Orton eliminated. Orton and Owens get into a brawl as Cody Rhodes runs down to ringside security trying to break the three of them up. They brawl out through the crowd. Then there were 6. Solo's in a bad place, and just like what happened to Liv Morgan earlier in the Women's Rumble, AA from Cena, curb stomp from Rollins, Drew McIntyre then claymores him, picks him up, throws Solo out. That's 3. And just as that happens, Seth Rollins turns around, and Roman Reigns is standing there. The former Shield brothers start swinging for one another, laying it on thick as Cena and Punk form a brief alliance to try and fight Drew McIntyre. We're down to 5. Roman and Seth fought in the ropes until Seth pushed him off. Roman went for the spear, only for Seth to do the pedigree counter that I love it when he does. He goes up for the stomp, but when he tries to follow it up, Roman rolls out of the way, hits Seth with a spear. Roman gets up and turns around right into a claymore. Drew picks him up, holds up 4, saying that's it. Throws Roman, but Roman holds on and pulls Drew out on the apron with him instead of being eliminated. Roman and Drew now both on the most dangerous part of the ring to be in a Rumble. John Cena picks up Seth Rollins on his shoulders for an AA. Seth flails to get out of it as Cena swings him around, right into a roundhouse kick from CM Punk that causes Cena to swing back around with Seth still on his shoulders towards the ropes where Roman and Drew are as the two pull Cena and Rollins out on the apron with them. 4 out of the 5 men are on the apron, and CM Punk, he's just watching it happen. On the apron, Drew picks Cena up to try and go for an air raid crash, only for Cena to use that as a way to get back in the ring. As Roman then very carefully runs into the Superman punch to Drew on the apron, who staggers as Seth stomps him on the apron, and Drew falls to the floor. Drew McIntyre eliminated. But before Seth and Roman can get back into it, they start throwing hands on the apron again this time. Drew slowly rises back to his feet, pulls Roman off the apron. Claymore. 4. Roman Reigns eliminated. We're in the final 3. Seth Rollins, CM Punk, John Cena. The 3 exchange finisher attempts before finally Punk catches Seth with a GTS. Seth no-sells it, refusing to come up short to Phil again as he lashes out and fights back, hitting an exhausted stomp. Punk and Rollins both collapse as Cena quickly tries to take advantage by picking up Seth Rollins, who gets out of the elimination attempt and instead hits a pedigree on Cena, only for CM Punk to ruin it, or to run in and hit Seth with a clothesline over the top rope, and then a roundhouse kick on the apron. Seth selling like Shawn Michaels in 2010. He's grabbing at the rope. Hits the ground. Heartbreak on his face. Seth Rollins eliminated. And just like that, in the year 2025, John Cena and CM Punk are the final 2 in the Royal Rumble. The 2 go back and forth, finisher exchanges being countered left and right. Punk finally gets a bit of that heel Punk energy back, rolls Cena up, hits a GTS, says, "You're not putting me in second place again, John! Not again! I didn't go away for 10 years to be your understudy again! You're gonna retire never being 17-time champion because of me!" As he picks Cena up, slaps him in the face and says, "Enjoy retirement, you colored vomit bastard!" Picks Cena up, carries him towards the rope, but just then Cena gets life, counters it, AA to Punk. Punk bounces back to his feet, he's wobbling. Cena throws him over the top rope, where a recovering Seth Rollins catches Punk on the way down. Punk hits the ground. John Cena wins the 2025 Royal Rumble. I know, John Cena's predictable to win it. Even in fantasy booking, it's predictable. But I just need him to win. He's the best choice. A lot of people will say CM Punk. CM Punk's still going to be around in 2026. The stars will align for that. John Cena, this is it. 2025 is it. This should be the year of Cena chasing number 17. He said he needs a miracle. He's found that miracle. He's on the road to WrestleMania. I never said he's going to win. But there you have it. That's my booking for the entire Royal Rumble 2025 Premium Live event, done in about a third of the time that the event's going to take. But who do you want to see as surprise entries in the Rumble this year? Who do you think is going to win the Rumble? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Tell me down below. Until then, I've been Xander, and that was WrestleLuigi.